Wholesale.
Wholesale.
That's a Cherokee greeting, and wave the great feather for the good of it. This weekend is the second weekend in June. Traditionally, up in Northern California, it's the time of the Maidu bear dance, and that's my theme here today. And that's up in the Mount Lassen National Forest. And I think Taylorville is a town that's near there. That's where it's being located. Coincidentally, I just happened to see on some local news station yesterday, they had it printed across the screen like a newspaper headline, "Black Bear Invades Washington, D.C. is seen prancing through people's yards." That must have been a scene. By the time the TV crew is on the scene, however, the bear is now comfortably snuggled asleep in a righteous container on a truck. But the eyewitnesses said, well, the bear came there and seems to have, he must have been very entertaining. They let him be for hours. He was prancing around. I'm sure people took a lot of pictures, but they weren't available yet on the TV there, so that he even climbed the tree. So these spectators were very sympathetic to this bear. So think of that. Maybe he was trying out for a presidential candidate. But that was very significant. The narration, which was a woman, she said, also there are some bears that are seen in a district north of here. So bears were about this weekend here. So how about that? The bear dance up there in Northern California is traditional. It's been going on for I don't know how many years. We certainly have been going to it for many years. We were there with that bear dance last year. And it was kind of a rainy day like it is here today, but it all worked out just right. So that's a way of introducing us to this event of the bear dance. And eventually I'm going to be talking about the bear man. You can go up here and look at my painting here. This is my painting of the bear man. And at the end, Claudia and I will do some of the bear dance songs here. Now a little bit of how this kind of got started. You can come over here and look at my painting here. Here you see, this is my painting, it's a bear. So a little bit of personal history here. When I had finished my project in Mexico of Mexican art history and had received my master's degree, then my life found me up in Northern California in Plumas County. Plumas again means feather, and we were where we were nestled, we're overlooking the Feather River Canyon. It's a very steep forested country there. I don't know how high it is. It's pretty rugged, and it's an intensely spiritual place. And the indigenous people of that locale are called the Maidu. Especially there is the mountain Maidu and maybe the valley Maidu. They have some two sections there. And for me, like I said, it was a very spiritual place. And my artistic theme there was doing what I call a series of drawings that were mostly inspired by dreams of being there. And they were made of watercolor, tempera paint, and crayon, those kind of things is what I made these drawings with here. The nearest town, which is considerable town, is Quincy. Quincy is the name of that town. And there is a regional museum. And then I had the occasion to exhibit these drawings that I'm referring to in that museum. The director there was a Chinese man, Mr. Moon. And the museum itself, the regional museum, featured displays of forest animals and particularly the indigenous Maidu people. And my paintings were really just really a neat place to be, because it wasn't a sterile gallery. My paintings were nestled in between these other exhibits of animals and Maidu, and like that. And so I'm pointing out this painting right here, since this is all about the bear, and this is my painting for that. I don't think that it's been in my portfolio that it has been seen since that time. I have the feather here for Feather River. They also at the same time had a college they had recently opened up, Feather River College. But our group didn't have anything in particular to have to do with that other encountering art students from that college. So here is my painting that was exhibited there. And here's a little bit of it's translated, an Indian chant to go with this painting. Bear, bear that I am, at the cliff coming through the mountain, I hold my head up greatly. Bear, bear that I am. They say that I have green mountains. They say that I went into the river. Bear, bear that I am. When the sun rises, I travel about. My mind shakes as I go about. Bear, bear that I am. Good. Now, a little while after my exhibit, my being there, I met Vivian Olds in Oakland, and it turned out that that's where she's from. She's from Quincy. She grew up there and everything, and her family had continued to live there, I would say, in that vicinity to this day. So what's really significant there, because she then, even though I lived out there, but she's the one who introduced me to the bear dance, introduced me to the Maidu. Friends of hers, Lily Baker, Enos Peck, basket makers, and others. She also knew Washoe people and so forth. And she took me around and showed me a lot of things. She's very knowledgeable of that area. She knows Maidu and she knows bears. And she even took me to the Camposanto where the Maidu are, rest in peace. And there I met my first bear man, albeit in the spirit, was his, interment site, Bill Epperson. And that has another significance to it, but I'll save that for later. So all of that, and Vivian still has my portfolio of these tempera drawings that I had exhibit at the Quincy Museum, and the only place that they were exhibited. And now she lives at the Pyramid Lake Paiute Reservation, and she has a gallery there in the form of a yurt, where she also shows my art along with other people. So that's a very good introduction into how I came to know the Maidu and the bear dance. And the culture of the bear is very, very, very ancient. And when you go all the way up to the top here, and what you're seeing up there, this is a mask that I've replicated. And I've replicated from an illustration in a book by Maria Gamboudas. She did more than one book, but the first one was, the gods and goddesses of ancient Europe. And so she was very different as an archaeologist, because she focused on, discovered and focused, the great mother culture, or the feminine culture here. And so this mask that I've replicated is in the age of like 7,000 years ago, kind of thing. Now you're looking at the mask, what you see on the side as kind of flaps, those are not ears. This is actually a mask, and that was the fixtures for tying around your head as a mask. I don't know what the mask was originally made of to be lasting so long. Maybe it's clay, but I would think usually you would make a rawhide mask. So it also, besides the mask, that there were many clay figures of bears. The bear that's being figured is not the ferocious grizzly bear you see on the cover of Field and Stream magazine so often. This is a mother bear, a bear who is very nurturing, often holding, little bears, nurturing little bears. So a very nurturing mother bear. And I would say that is the main culture of the bear. In that world, that then kind of became a Greek world, Artemis. Artemis is also the bear. The Roman version of Artemis is Diana. Rhea is another one. So the bear goddess was very prevalent there in the ancient world of Europe, and also whatever ceremonies or festivities they had with Artemis, they also had young women, young girls, who were little bears, and they wore usually like flower wreaths around their hair. And all of this, definitely is recognizable in the Maidu bear dance, which is actually called the Weda Boyam. That's the way the Maidu say the bear dance. So the plant that we use there is like a sage. It's Artemisia. Artemisia, or it's called wormwood. And children, they do make wreaths of these branches and do tie them around their head and things like that. So it's very, very, very similar there. I'll get more to that there. One can go down here and look at what I have here. This is actually what I have to call a calendar print. This is from Sun Bear. Sun Bear is a Chippewa man who has somehow fostered quite a following, I think, to somehow integrate Americans, into our native culture. And so it's kind of a Sun Bear tribe, Sun Bear clan, something like that. And he, produces, books and things like that. And this is a picture from the calendar, Sun Bear's calendar, that's astrological. And what it is that somebody has actually made a painting on a shield. It is a shield, and then these are actual, this is a picture of it, but these are actual feathers that are attached to the shield. Now, that's a very good occasion for me to read on the calendar the astrology that goes with that, which I think is very, very telling to what the bear means to us and what it has always meant to us. It's titled Brown Bear, the Practical Judge. Born under the third moon, when the summer's growth has brought everything to harvest, brown bear people understand the need of continuing to work until a project comes to its natural completion. These folks really value the endeavor, and they have a finely honed sense of discrimination. They honor all their responsibilities to their community and mates. They possess good judgment and good sense. Like their mineral totem, the amethyst, they are spiritually attuned. Their obvious sense of practicality is tempered by their ability to understand the mysteries of both the universe and human nature. Brown bear people know their own minds and are very forthright in giving their opinions on the necessary occasions. People who are born under this moon are fair, grounded, and kind folks who are deliberate in everything they do. That's really, really great. Now, a person who is this bear person is Claudia. Claudia who is behind this camera. And to go over here to see, this is my drawing of her. She is a medicine woman. She has had the dreams of the bear and so forth. And she's for real. She's for real a medicine woman. This is my favorite drawing of her. as you would say, the woman of the Bear Clan in her cave. Is pretty much what I would look at. And to ever more realize this. The Coyote shaman encourages women to give birth to their own animal lineage so that they can live the completion of their lives. So that's what we're saying there of that. You can kind of move over here to this little shield here. After we left the bear dance, last year, we come down to Grey Eagle, where we are acquainted with a woman there that has a little trader store, and I obtained this shield from her. It's a rawhide shield. This is a medicine shield. Don't know exactly, the person didn't put their name on it in this case, but there are people still in this country who have, a club, they get together and they still follow our traditional ways. And this might be a person who has dreamed of the bear and then made her shield here. It's definitely a medicine shield, in that way. When we come down here to this figure that's in front of the bear shield here, this carving here, this is Zuni. Now Zuni is a Spanish name that the Americans have kind of co-opted and applied to these people. They're Pueblo people living in the very western edge of now the state of New Mexico on the Arizona border. Their name is actually Ashawi, and they are actually descendants of Berbers from North Africa, actually from the Jejura Mountains of Morocco. But anyway, they are very, very prolific in carving animals, but most especially bear. And this is a very well carved, it's carved of some hardwood for the bear. And as usual, it usually has a feather or a arrowhead attached to it. The Americans call these fetishes, but I don't really know whether that's accurate or not. And since we're looking at that one, here is another one right here. Some Zuni have taken to taking these traditional forms, that's what this is, and have been making more modern sculptures. This is made out of flesh-colored onyx, which is what the name onyx actually means here. And then here we have a bear-headed pipe. You can say this is Claudia's pipe, She smokes the sage in here. And I have it here on a junkus basket that has been woven with the shape of, I would say, a pine tree. And then keep going over here. Here's another wood carving that's Zuni. It has what people call in it a heart line going into it. And this is more the shape that I usually see that's a Zuni here. And when I come up here, let me take this off for a minute so you can see this. This is a shield, and I've written this, on the shield. I call these shield covers here, and that my creative energies are released in these shield covers. He comes from the north. He comes to fight. He comes from the north. See him there. I throw dust on me. It changes me. I am a bear when I go to meet him. Send word, bear. Send word, Father Bear. Send word, Bear Father. I'm having a hard time. Send word, Bear Father. I'm having a bad time. My paw is holy. Herbs are everywhere. My paw, herbs are everywhere. My paw is holy. Everything is holy. My paw makes everything holy. Oh. And then one more little exhibit here. A little while ago, Jack and I were driving up there Mount Laguna on the Sunrise Highway, and a bear ran across the road and into the brush in front of us. And then I found this toy bear, and he looked like that bear. So that's why this bear is here with us. Now I'm going to go to the bear dance. In the bear dance, first there's this, see this pole that I painted is here. It's a very big wooden pole, and what it has tied to it is what looks like raffia that's painted with those stripes on it. And this is called the bear flag. The name is Yoki, the Maidu name for the Yoki. And this particular year that I painted it, this was this bear man had a new bear skin, and this one was red like that. Otherwise they often look much darker here. And this is the bear man, and he is walking around this way, and I have him carrying this twigs of the sage wormwood, but he doesn't really do that. All the people are in concentric circles, with the youngest people in the center, and then it kind of goes out so that the older people are in the largest circle on the outside. And the bear man follows another man, a very strong young man, who has to carry this bear flag because it's very big and very heavy and rather awkward. And so the bear man kind of follows him as he's going around through these circles. He doesn't necessarily stay in the circle, he can break through the circles. And what he usually does, he goes in front of a female person, a woman, or maybe a younger, like that, and he will, with his claws, claw the ground in front of her, like that, and then somehow escort her into the center of the circle where she'll stay. And all the while, the priests, it's what they are, the priests who are the bear song singers, they're singing and the circles are moving, dancing, moving in opposite directions to each other. And that's going on all the time while the bear man is finding people to take in to the center of the circle. And the singing continues and continues and continues that way until eventually somehow the bear flag man and the bear man break off one of the circles, and like a spiral unwinding, it gradually unwinds as the bear man is leading the train of people up among the trees, around through the trees, like that. And so it goes on like that. The people still stay where they are singing as this circles are unwinding like a big snake like that. And nearby, it is always necessary that there is a flowing stream. Oh, and I should have said too, everybody has these withes of sage, of the wormwood. And that's why I should show you this one here. I have the bear, and what I've put here is a sage bundle, because I don't have it right now. I don't have any of that Artemisia or wormwood, but you know that's what it stands for, like that. So everybody has this. I should have said while the bear is going around through the circles, people have these twig switches and stroke the bear skin as he goes by all the time. So now when we come all the way down and around to the creek, we kind of stroke ourselves with those like we're cleaning ourselves and throw them into the flowing stream. That's how we're getting the renewal. And the bear man will also do likewise. He will stroke the bear skin and he may hang it up on a branch right there. So that's the way all of this is going. And to give you a whole poetic meaning for this, I'm going to read this one. Bear dance. Here is our wheel of dreams. It carries our voices and makes them turn on the marrow of bone, centered in life, round and rounding about our first world, this strong wheel. We shape our songs upon this wheel and spin the native names of earth and sky, wind and water. Mother Bear, Yanotsi, and Cousin Coyote, Waya, the paws and claws of our roundhouse council, Adaskie, the talking circle. So it gives you a sense of this very necessary and very ancient culture that we are part of, and which we have still been able to support ourselves and our world, no matter what else is happening. The other thing that's very suitable for my talk today is this wood carving mask here, which by the looks of it I would guess has been carved in Indonesia, but it's very suitable, for our theme today of the bear dance. So at this point, Claudia and I are going to sing a medley of the bear dance songs that we've been able to remember. We learned them through dancing them over years. Eric is taking over the filming here. Okay. Sing. Ooh-wee, aloo-wee, leya. 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 Oh, oh, Endu-gai-ye, 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 Endu-gai-ye. Oh, 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 we really want to, we really, really want to, we really want to, we really, really want to, we really want to, we really, really want to, we really want to, we really, really want to. Oh, oh, oh. Now this ceremony is the spring renewal. That's why it's in June, after the winter, and the snows are melting. And as they melt, they make a little streams. These little streams that go down into larger streams. You can see that. And in these streams, there are these little fishies. There's the little fishies, you'll see them swimming in there. And then the song is about, but there is this one little fishy, he's not swimming like those fishies. He's turned sideways and he's swimming along with the stream. And that's the way he goes. Whitney to oh la yamanana Whitney to hey la yamanana Whitney to oh la yamanana oh. Now we come to the forest, like that. There's all these animals. And now all these animals are coming out. They're all coming out. So you're going to hear them like that. So that's the way we're going. Oh, oh, you
with no toe. Oh, oh, with no toe. Oh, oh, you with no toe. Oh, with no toe. Oh, you with no toe. Oh, with no toe. Oh, with no toe. Oh, with no toe. Hey, oh, you with no toe. Oh, with no toe. Oh, you with no toe. Oh, with no toe. Oh,
Oh! There you are, folks. I hope you all enjoyed our bear dance for everybody.